Okay, so for this question number 3, it says George wrote an integer. The opposite of George's integer is negative 53. So let me highlight my important information so far. So we know that the number is an integer and that the opposite of the integer is negative 53. So now it's asking for which of these statements about George's integer must be true. Okay, so then in order for us to solve this, we need to understand what an integer is. Remember, an integer are numbers such as 0, 1, -1, 2, -2. So remember, there is no fractions, decimals, or percents in order for it to be an integer. So, and we know that the opposite of it is negative 53. So what is the opposite of negative 53? It has to be positive 53. Okay, so now we're dealing with this number 53. So then, is the integer 53? Yes, it is. So this one's correct. The integer has an absolute value of negative 53. So remember, when we talk about absolute value, it's when we have these bars that are not so squiggly around the number that look like this, and we say the absolute value of 53. So remember, we are talking about the distance from 0. So if we were to do a number line and count the jumps, there would be in total 53 jumps. So our absolute value would be positive 53. So this one is incorrect. And then it says the integer is negative 53. No, we figured out that it was 53. And then the integer has an absolute value of 53, which is true because that's what we figured out. So it has to be answer choice where it has 1 and 4, and it's this last one right here. Okay. So for question number 4, it says which graphic organizer correctly groups the following numbers? So we have 3.4, -2, 3, and -1.2 tenths. Okay. So then if we are talking about our graphic organizer, remember we first need to see if our real number system is in order, from which rational numbers, remember, means all the numbers, it's outside. So rational numbers, it's outside, it has all the numbers. Then the next one should be integers. This one has integers, and then the most inner part are whole numbers, okay? So remember, when we talk about whole numbers, okay, we start at the number 0, so it is our counting number. So it's like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, okay? So then if I look at this, right, our number 3 should be at the whole numbers. So far from what I have, this one is wrong, so it cannot be H. So far it can be G or J, okay? And then remember, when we are talking about integers, let me write that right here. Integers. So integer numbers, we are talking about numbers such as -1, 0, 1. We can also talk about 2, right? And -2. So remember, it is all the numbers that are not, right, not fractions, decimals, or percents, okay? So then, again, if I look at the integers so far, the only integer that should be here is this -2, okay? So -2 is an integer based on what we talked about. So far, F is correct, H is out, G is out because of this -1.2 tenths, and J is out because of the 3.4 and the -1.2 tenths, okay? And my last part is my rational numbers. Remember, rational means all the numbers. So rational means all the numbers, so all my decimals, all my fractions, all my percents. So these two are left, and these are my decimal numbers, so my answer choice has to be F. So 3.4 tenths and -1.2 tenths.